And then moving on to the last talking point, perhaps the most important talking point, big picture wise, is playoff implications. Right now, the Buffalo Bills have a 74% chance of making it to the playoffs. If we win against the Patriots in Foxborough, 1 o'clock, by the way, awesome time, it jumps to 95%. And then after that, the Bills play the Falcons and the Jets. If the Bills can win against the Patriots on Sunday, everything is right in front of them to take that division. Unless something crazy happens. If they win in, I don't know how the implications work and whatnot. And I'm getting all these numbers and whatnot from the New York Times playoff calculator. But if the Bills lose against the Patriots, their chances of making the playoffs drops to 57%. A coin flip. That's huge. I would argue that both of these Patriots games were huge for both teams, right? The last one was like, all right, if the Bills lose this game, then they basically drop to the 7th seed or out of the playoffs. And we saw that the Bills lost and they dropped to the 7th seed. Then we had to play the Bucks, and luckily some things happened where the Bills were still the 7th seed. Now this game, but if we actually won that game last Monday night, I'm pretty sure we would have been tied for the number 1 seed, or we would have definitely been the division leader. But this time around, I think this matchup is even more important. I would argue that it's more impactful than the first game because of the fact that we're talking about a drop from 74% to 57% if we lose. Was that 14%? Yeah, that's a pretty big swing. That's a pretty big swing right there if the Bills lose. But if the Bills win, we jump up to 21% of making the playoffs. 74 to 95. This game is so significant for what the Buffalo Bills want to do. Right? Everything is right there for them. They just got to go out there and do it. Can they do it? Yeah, of course they can do it. Will they do it? I don't know. Nobody knows, and I'm a pretty nervous person when it comes to these types of matchup, and historically they would go in the Patriots' favor, but I think this matchup is going to be much different than last year and this year's previous 3 games because we had that crazy weather game that neutralized all passing attacks, and when the Bills did decide to start passing, it was a little too late. And then last year they had Cam Newton throwing it, who was a shell of himself, and we were reminded that against the Panthers this past Sunday. This is the first time that the Bills are actually going to get a look at Mac Jones and that Patriots team. So can the Bills answer the call? Go out there and do it. To quote Joe Marino, either do it or don't. You lose to the Patriots, it's not the end of the world. It's not a must-have, but it would be very nice. It would be very nice to help the Bills and their playoff implications. And I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I still think that this team has the juice. It has the makeup to go into the playoffs and make a deep push. But they just got to go out there and do it.